This will be the last of the questions for a while for this batch. A couple people have asked, how do you come up with the culture and tech and changes to the dystopian world you created? Do you think that is what the future will be like? Um, I don't know. I found in book one, I found the world building elements to actually be a little bit more challenging just because it's based on Earth, which everyone knows. So I had to do more research for the different cities and use more plausible technology, I guess, than some of what the alien planets have. I guess it just kind of developed over time. I don't really outline, but I do like to know like different points in the story of where I want things to go. So then once I did that, then I kind of fleshed out the world that way with what the story required, and then just any fun, weird tech things that entered my mind. As far as if that's what the future I think will be like, I hope not. I would say I think that bad things could happen, and that would be global. And as far as like a sweeping virus, I would really hope not. But there's a lot of that out there right now with all the different zombie incarnations and everything. Um, so I don't know. I guess I would just say I would hope not. Okay, next question. I've read that the book is dark Christian sci-fi. How do you use religion in the Kota? Um, yeah. The Kota is obviously a Christian-based group. Um, it's kind of complicated. Book 4, I think, is the most Christian of all the books, in that you kind of finally learn then like what they really are supposed to believe, and that's also where kind of the allegorical elements all come together from my own belief system, I guess. I've always very purposefully didn't want to go the route of the more paranormal way. I think setting a sci-fi world with Christianity is interesting just because so many people see those things as conflicting. So I tried to my whole approach to it is kind of more, if you use science as looking at it as the law of the universe, and I don't think that conflicts with belief in God at all. If he's supposed to have made science, and I think those things should jive. So yeah, that's I guess how I use it, is kind of allegorical, but also it becomes kind of a literal interpretation of if you read the Bible from my sci-fi story basis. I guess I'm not gonna ruin anything more than that. This question is, do I need to read your books in order? The interesting thing that I kind of found in how I wrote these in the first place was I actually wrote book 2 and then 3 and then 4 and then went back and wrote book 1. Just because these were always based on what we played when we were kids, what we played when we were kids was book 1, What Happens on Earth. So when I wrote them, I kind of wanted to finish the story off of when we played, so I wrote books 2, 3, and 4. So in a lot of ways, you can start on book 2 because they kind of go more together, in that it's all what happens once the warriors leave Earth, and there becomes kind of a more unifying mission there. It's also, someone's already pointed out who's been reading book 2 that it's much more from the perspective of the natives on that planet in book 2. So it's kind of interesting to see someone introduced to the warriors in that way. Also, book 2 definitely explains a lot of the more mystery elements of book 1. So it's kind of surprising to read book 2 and then go back to book 1 because you have a whole different take on what's going on. Okay, this isn't really a question, but it's an observation. Offering a probably wildly inaccurate prediction that Malice is somehow going to be left standing when all is said and done. That guy's like a cockroach, and I feel like he's going to do anything to survive. That said, I hope that every time he appears, somebody breaks his nose. I never do explain what happens to poor Malice, or evil Malice, or whatever, but yeah, he's kind of just, I think he would have made a great deal with the underground. He's probably off on some tropical island somewhere wearing you know, tropical shirts, if that's still a thing in 600 years, and just surrounded by questionable women drinking a lot. And I imagine he would just tell everyone stories of how he's actually responsible for saving Earth. So yeah, in my head, that's kind of what happens with Malice, is he's just off somewhere drinking himself into oblivion, I guess. I read in an interview or a bio somewhere that you have a tattoo of the Kota mark. Can we see it? I will just show at the bottom of this a picture, I think, of the four of us who made the Kota stories. Each got the Kota tattoo when the youngest of us turned 18 and his parents couldn't have a say in it anymore. So that's kind of a really special thing with the four of us who played Bullseye and Tigress and Rave and White Wolf. So we each got the mark when we grew up. So I might as well just show you. It's there, and I just scratched myself. But yeah, so that's kind of cool. So anyway, so I will be doing more Q&As in the future when I get enough questions to put a group together again. I will definitely be doing one before book 3 is released, which I am planning for April is the plan. So thanks everyone who contributed, and you can go now to Amazon for books 1 and 2, and they're both in paperback and in ebook form. So thanks everybody.